my name is Mark, and I've been working here at Testa Memorial since 2008. I've been developing and improving the composting programs, and then also supporting Susie and Brandon and the previous garden chairpersons. So I love this garden, and it's amazing, and it's big, and it takes a lot of work. And we appreciate that you guys can come out and help in all the ways that you have, because we can't do this without you. And the kids benefit so much. I'm sure that you've seen that this year, and so we really are doing it for them, and thank you all for contributing. So it's the middle of the year, and most of you have come out probably 2 or 3 times now, and so I hope that you've gotten more comfortable. And usually about middle of the year time, the plants are going to start growing much faster, because when it rains, the rainwater just has an incredible effect on the seeds. And so fall is the most difficult time to plant, and you guys have probably experienced that. If you've gotten a little frustrated, that's normal. Fall is always hard time. As the rains come, as the soil comes back alive, the seeds that you start planting with the kids in the springtime are just going to jump out of the ground. And so you'll feel a lot of success, and the kids will too. And then also for maintainers, there will be more weeds to pull, which is good news, because you guys haven't had that many weeds to pull other than the grass over by that tree over there. So there'll be more weeds coming up, and just more things for the maintainers to do. So that's good news too. Kids like pulling weeds, don't they? They love pulling weeds. And that's a good thing, because we channel their energy and they feel that satisfaction. So my name is Mark, and I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for 24 years, and I have my own school. And at my school, we teach all outdoors, all in nature. And I basically teach science and nature study, hands-on, all outside. So the things that we're going to be talking about today are some of the things that I've learned from many years of experience. But mainly it's to help you guys with just getting a little bit more confidence and feeling a little bit better when you're out with the kids, and so that you can have a better time. Because we want you guys to have fun, and we want the kids to have fun, and we want it to be enjoyable for you and for them. So we've received some feedback from people over the last couple of weeks about how the fall went. So the feedback that we've been given is this training that I'm going to give you guys today is sort of based on that, and it's also based on my observations over many years of how things go in the fall, and then how we can help things keep going in the springtime. So for this presentation, I hope it helps you guys feel more confident with the students at your upcoming visits, help you to work as a team with other parent volunteers, because all of you, planter, maintainer, explorer, you guys are a team, and you guys have been working together very well as far as what I've seen and Angelica have seen, and we just want help you guys keep that going. And then to lead students, if one of your parents in your group is missing, some of you guys have had that situation, and most of you have handled it as well as you can, and we just want to help you if that happens. And then to give you ideas of what you can do with your students once their basic tasks are finished. Sometimes the planters have planted their seeds, and then they have 15 minutes. And so there's a lot of things that you can do that are going to be very fun for the kids and satisfying for the kids. And also for you, it's going to give you something to direct the kids to do. So, all right. So thank you guys again for coming. Everybody should have this sheet right here. And if you don't, there's some on the table. You can grab them. What grade are these guys? I was going to use them.
He's in kindergarten.
Kindergarten?
Yeah.
You like coming to the garden? All right, so everybody should have one of these. All right. So, number 1, arrive early, briefly with the other parent volunteers from your class. I think everybody's basically been doing that. I think that when you've done that, you see how helpful that is. If somebody's absent, just get together with the other parents in your group and strategize together about how you can cover for that person. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that, and I think that you guys can probably at this point with your experience figure out what you guys need to do based on the kids that you're having and based on your own experience. So, and then number 2, get the students from the classroom, try to be on time for them. We want to give them the full amount of the garden time, which is 25 minutes for each group with that little 5-minute transition time. So, and then separate the students into planter, maintainer, and explorer, as you guys have been doing, or composter. Composter is just for 2nd grade. Angelica and I are doing the composting for the 2nd grade. And then review safety. This was one of the things that we got from feedback is sometimes the kids are getting kind of wild and you don't really want to like hammer because you don't want that to be the garden experience. The garden experience is not about punishments, right? So these are things that volunteers have said in the past, that I'll say to the kids, that the teachers will say to the kids that really work well. And they're very quick, easy things to say. The simplest and best thing to say is, the garden is a classroom and we have the same rules here as you do in your classroom. That really takes care of a lot because the kids sort of are like, oh, okay. And they settle down and they realize, where they are. And then another thing that you can tell them if somebody's getting more rowdy and kind of needs a little bit more encouragement is just to say, hey, I know your teacher and I don't want to have to tell him or her that you're being disrespectful in the garden. And you don't have to say it in a mean way. You don't want to scare the kids. You're just reminding them, right? Because their teacher's not out here. And if their teacher was out here, their teacher would probably be like, give them the thing, right? But you don't have to do that. But if you just remind them, hey, I know Mrs. Hayden. I don't want to have to tell her that you're being disrespectful. That'll work too. And again, it's very fast, just one sentence. And it might be done just close to the kid, not yelling in front of everybody, but just to that one kid, just real close, And then after you tell a student what they can't do, give them something that they can do. So, don't hang on the arbor, but you can pick weeds over here. And that way the kid's like, oh, okay. And then they go and they start picking weeds. And sometimes that's simple. That's all it takes. Just redirect. You guys do this as parents all the time. With 5 kids, it's a little harder, but same. Just redirect. All right, and then lead the students in specific tasks assigned to each group. You guys know what these tasks are. We'll just go through them because what we want you guys to do for each other now is we want the maintainers to know what the planters are doing. We want the planters to know what the explorers are doing. We want the explorers to know what the maintainers are doing so that you guys can help each other. And if you're a planter, volunteer, but maybe the maintainer person didn't show up, you can kind of fill in for them and you have a basic idea of what needs to be done. So for planters, main job is planting seeds. Have the kids water the areas they planted with rainwater from the cisterns using the handheld water containers. Let's go over and take a look at that. Let's all come over here. All right. And you guys can come on up. I'm sure you guys know. Does everybody use water from these barrels? Raise your hand if you use water from the cisterns. Okay, good. This is water that you can use. This is rainwater. Both of these, all 3 of these cisterns were empty 3 weeks ago. That one storm that happened on that Monday evening and Tuesday filled up these 2. And then on this one, we attach this hose onto the end here, and we open the valve, and we allow this to be an overflow. Because in a single storm, in just 2 inches of rain, all 3 of these cisterns will fill up, and they will overflow. So this system was actually designed by the 5th graders in 2009, and I took them through a whole program that I call Water in the World, which is something that I still do with other 5th grade classes. They did a site assessment of the garden. They calculated the volume of the water that comes off of these roof spaces and also the volume of water that hits the ground in the garden. And they basically created this system that's completely gravity fed. So the water, most of the water that's filling these cisterns is coming from this roof space, this half of the kindergarten. It comes down this downspout. And then there's a system called a first flush system that basically gets rid of the mud and the muck. And then the cleaner water goes into this one, which you have access here. The overflow from this one goes into this one, which you have access here. And then the overflow from this one goes into this one, which sometimes we let fill. Most of the time we direct it to one of the spots in the garden. You can tell this to the kids if you have time, if you want to. It might be a little tricky for a kindergartner, but you can tell them that the water comes off the roof. And then this is the water container. The kids can fill it up. The water comes out pretty fast because there's 500 gallons in here. And then the kids love water. Let them carry the watering cans. If they're a kindergartner, can you come on up here? What's your name? Colby? Colby, can you hold that? Is that too heavy for you to carry? Do you think you could walk that over and water that lettuce plant right there? Awesome. That's perfect. You've been in the garden before. That's just about the right amount of water to give to that lettuce plant. Good. And then I'll take the can from you. All right. So good. Thanks, Colby. You can go back with your mom. If it's a kindergartner, just don't fill it up too much. They can do all this, right? They can turn this on, lever right there. If it spills a little bit, oh, kindergartners, no problem. Just don't leave it open. And then let them carry it over. If it takes 5 minutes for them to walk over to the bed, that's no problem, because you got extra time, right? Especially planters. You planted the seeds, let them do the work. Walk it over, let them water, right? And then I'll let the rest of this go out. Does anybody else want to water? The garden is really about getting the kids' hands on things, because that's the way that we remember, and it's powerful memories. We've seen kids go from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade, coming to the garden once a month, and by 5th grade, they feel such ownership of this space. They can remember in 1st grade planting in one of these beds or one of these beds. They can remember in 2nd grade the bed that they planted. They can remember in 4th and 5th grade moving over to those beds over there. They have all of those memories built up. It's really amazing. You know? So this goes right here. There's more watering cans in the barn if you guys need. All right. So planters, planting and water, right? That's sort of the planters' area of expertise. All right. And then you can harvest what's ready, and you can allow the students to eat and take things home if you want. And then you can share harvested stuff with the other groups, with the maintainers, with the explorers. If you're not sure about whether something's edible or something, you can just leave it in there. Planters, the next time you come out, we're going to be in the spring season. And so sometimes we encourage you to take things out and replant. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you have some beans that are just coming up right now, that are just starting to get pods on them, you can let them keep growing. If you have carrots that are ready to harvest, you can pull the carrots out. If you have lettuce that's not quite ready, you can leave it there. So it's really up to you how you want to manage your beds. And then obviously, like for this bed, it's got a lot of open space. Maybe seeds didn't come up in October or November. You've got a lot of space to plant, so you can use that space and plant the seeds. You guys are going to be getting seed packets from your from the planter person, which is Victoria, at 9 o'clock. So that'll be in about 15 minutes. You guys will be able to get your seeds from Victoria. All right, so planters, all good? If you have any questions, you'll be breaking off with Victoria in just about 15 minutes, and she can answer some more detailed questions. Okay, and then maintainers. Maintainers, your main job is pulling weeds, as you guys have been doing, and then also helping to move trash cans that have anything in them from your work area into the hallway. So if a trash can has any trash or stuff in them, you can move it, or have the kids move it if they're ready. So this one has some weeds and some popsicle sticks. If it's got trash in it, whatever, you or the kids with your help are just going to take it from your work area and move it into the hallway. Everybody follow me because I want you guys to see where we put them. That's where they go. We put them here, and then Robert Rangel or Alex Ant is the evening custodian. They'll take them to the dumpster, and then they'll bring the empty ones back, and they'll put the empty ones right there at the entranceway where the empty ones are, and then you guys can have access to those. So any trash cans with anything in them. We used to say 2/3 full, but now we want to keep the trash cans in a good rotation. So if it has any trash, if it has any weeds, if it has any leaves, bring it out to here, ready to be taken. All right? All right. And then you can go back into the garden. You guys see the trash cans here? These are all empties. These are all ready to use. And then explorers. Raise your hand if you're an explorer. Explorers. All right. You've been in the garden, so you know a lot of stuff. Okay. So explorers, when you have the really young kids like the kindergartners, just get them touching as much as they can. It's the same thing with planters, it's the same thing with maintainers. We want them touching stuff. If they see an insect on the ground, that may not seem important to us. That's huge to a kindergartner because they're learning about it and they can see it and they can go, whoa. You know, and they have that memory. And then when they start learning about insects in second grade, they can be like, oh yeah, 8 legs, 9 legs, 10 legs, whatever. They'll remember those differences. So you can walk the kids through the garden, showing them things, telling them what things are. Keep it simple. Allow them to touch stuff. And then if you have extra time, or if the kids are squirrely, or if you just run out of things to say, you can take them over to beds E and F, which is over there, which we're going to walk to right now. You guys can get there however you'd like. We're going to go over this way. You guys can just come on down, fill in this area right here if you want to. All right. All right. So this is bed E. We don't plant in this bed. We used to. It became difficult because it kind of got invaded by grass. The grass jumped over from the field and started invading this area. So we're kind of leaving it fallow and trying to let it dry out so that the grass dies back. And we may be putting an orchard in this area with some fruit trees. So this is bed E. This is bed F. Bed F does have some stuff in it. Artichoke, kale trees, eggplant. Nobody's planting in here either. So if you have that crazy group of kindergartners that's just doing this right when they show up to the garden and you're like, oh God, you know, bring them over here. Because this is like a little, it's like a play zone, right? And you can see that it's bordered. And so you can tell the kids, hey guys, let's just stay inside the cement. Let's stay inside the wall. And that way the boundaries are clear. And they can dig, they can yank stuff out. Probably not put stuff in their mouth, but if they do, there's nothing poisonous here. They're not going to die. And like you can see this little one, she wants to go a little, but she can't go that far, right? And this is,
There you go.
that's right there. The face, you see her face. That's what they can do. They can just go, oh, and then just let the kids dig. They can yank out plants if they want to. And you'll find bugs, you'll find all kinds of stuff in here, especially for the kindergarten and the first grade. Maybe not for the second grade. Second grade's a little ready to do a little bit more work. But for the kindergarten and the first, this is a good area. And also, if you're a planter and you have extra time, you can bring them over here. If you're a maintainer and you have extra time, you can bring them over here. You can tell them that they can pick weeds, and they can pick weeds. But if they just want to like look around, or you can say, oh, you guys can dig in the ground. Look at this crack over here. In these cracks, you'll find a lot of insects because they're going down into the ground to stay cool and stay moist. So this is sort of like a free area that the kids can explore. That they're not going to hurt anything, Same with over there. And touch, right? Throw. Maybe not at their friends, but throw. All right. And then composter people for the second grade. Composting is for second grade only. They're going to go with Angelica and I doing worm composting. So you guys aren't, I don't think any of you guys are composter or volunteers. And then if you have extra time, here are some options that any group can do. Bring them to Beds E&F and let them weed. And if they don't want to weed, then you can just tell them to look for a centipede, or look for a roly-poly, or look for a snail. Give them that specific task, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then encourage the students to explore Beds E&F, looking for bugs, looking for other creatures. Students can dig as much as they want. Share the students' enthusiasm if they find stuff. Encourage the students to share their finds with their classmates. Walk the garden looking for any tools that have been left out. That's another good thing to do. Especially if you have a group that's they want a job. That's a good job to give people. And then tell the kids about something in the garden, such as the rainwater cisterns, such as the rain chains, which are coming down off the gutters. Those are to allow the water to trickle down into the beds rather than splashing. Or the fruit trees, which are in different places in the garden. Or the touch and smell garden, which is where the orange tree is right there. And then, if necessary, you can lead the students through rinsing dirt off of their hands. And that's the next place that we'll go. So you guys can come on over here. Okay. So this is the barn. Everybody knows about the barn. You may not always need kids to wash their hands, but if you do, the purpose of getting their hands washed is just to get dirt off their hands. We don't really have any soap. You can tell the kids, hey guys, we're just getting dirt off our hands. If you need to wash with soap, then you can talk to Mrs. Hayden, or you can talk to Mrs. Caparici and ask her if you can use soap in the classroom. And so, does everybody know where the sink valve is? Okay, raise your hand if you do not know where the sink valve is. Everybody knows where it is, good. Okay, so you turn the sink valve on, which Angelica's gonna do, and then you walk the kids over here. Everybody just kind of fill in this space so you guys can see. You guys know where the sink is. This might be stuff that you guys know, but we're just trying to like fine tune to make it easier for you and easier for the kids also. So you guys can fill in the space, You guys can fill in right here too if you want. Okay, so washing hands. We want to model water conservation. We're out of a drought, but maybe there'll be a drought in the future. Okay, so with this hand washing, just tell the kids, hey guys, we're gonna wash our hands for 10 seconds, and then we'll let the next group go. You guys wanna wash your hands?
Yeah.
Did you get a little dirty?
You want to show them that? Show it.
So we're gonna wash our hands for 10 seconds. These are my model students. Are you guys ready? So I'm just gonna turn on for 10 seconds. You guys ready?
All right, Kenny, are you ready?